Hi, writers. Today we are going to focus on developing characters and narrative stories through dialogue, thoughts, actions, and feelings. Before we get started, let's just think back to what you did yesterday. Some really big, important work. You did some self-assessing yesterday, and you used what you've already done to set goals for the future. You did this by looking at one of your earliest pieces. Maybe it was an on-demand, maybe it was just an entry, but you used it to then think about what you could do next using two very important tools, narrative craft checklist and an exemplar piece of writing. Those two tools, a checklist and an exemplar piece, will help you in any genre and in any part of the writing process. And in fact, you might even be able to find some space later today to use those tools again. So let's get started by reminding ourselves of what we've already learned about writing true stories. I'm going to show you some post-its to help you remember. So whenever you want to write a true story, you can start by thinking of moments in your life that matter, choosing one, reimagining the story, asking yourself, what exactly was I saying, doing, thinking, feeling at the start? And then make a movie in your mind and storytell it out bit by bit. Today, I want to teach you the next step to this process. Today, I want to teach you that because you are the main character in your personal narrative piece, your writing will get way better if you develop yourself as a character. You need to show yourself doing, saying, thinking, feeling things that will help your readers to understand who you are, what your traits are. So today we're going to be thinking about what we know to be true about characters. We can use some of the stuff we know from reading too. It might be really helpful. I'm going to show you how I get started by jumping right into my own piece. While I get mine up, maybe you want to make sure that you have your digital writing on your screen too. Your digital writing is going to be the last thing you were working on before your goal setting. So the story you were working on when you were doing bit by bit work, when you were also choosing a seed idea and pushing forward and creating the scenes. So right now, that's going to be either in your digital notebook or the ongoing Google document. So open it up before you move forward. So here's my writing from the other day. You might remember it. Take a second to look it over with me. So I started out writing this story about the time I lost my grandpa on the beach, and I kind of started where the trouble really gets going. So I'm on the beach enjoying myself, and then the last thing that happens is I realize my grandpa is gone. Okay, so today I'm going to jump right in, and I'm going to try to develop myself as a character by really trying to capture things that I say, do, think, feel all the time. So maybe I need to take a second to just think about, what am I like as a character? What would I say or do or think in this moment where I left off? Pulled myself up off the sandy bed I had made for myself. Do you notice how I'm rereading it to get it in my mind? I'm trying to get that story, that movie going in my mind so I can really think about, like, what would the character, me, do? Not just some other random person that's in the story. It's me. Okay. So I'm a pretty emotional person. So maybe the next thing I would do would probably be to, like, cry or freak out. That sounds about right. I'm going to write that right into the story because it feels like probably what I would do. Okay. My heart, very emotional. So I want to make sure that's very clear. Started to beat so fast. I thought it would beat right out of my chest. I felt tears begin to well up behind my Okay, so let me just think back to what I've done already. I've described some stuff. So I've described like maybe like the feeling I'm having in this moment, my anxiety, my internal feeling, but also the physical feeling of it. I'm describing what I look like I have these tears. Maybe I need to change up the kind of detail. So maybe I can start to add some dialogue this time too, using some of what I already know to be true about elaborating in details. There's different kinds. So maybe I try again. Gramps. I shriek. Did you hear that? I chose that word because I feel like it would really show how kind of emotional and anxious I would be in this moment. I wouldn't be that like really just calm, cool, collected person like, I guess we'll just look around for him. That's not me. That's not true to who I am as a character. I would probably freak out right away. Okay, so now let me think, what else could I do? What else could I do to really bring out who I am? So I want to make sure that the trait is really clear. Like, what am I like as a person? Well, what could this part show about me? I'm emotional. Why am I emotional? Because I don't know where my grandpa is. Okay, so this could probably show how I'm caring or how I'm often a reactive person. Let's go with caring. That might be nicer. Okay, so what would a caring person like me do? Well, I would start to look around, and that's what I did. I started to really look around and like panicked, looked around. I shriek. Okay. I start walking toward the ocean. Maybe he went for a dip. Maybe he's just forgetting that he needs someone there with him. I set out toward the water, my eyes scanning. So as I started writing this, I started to kind of think like, okay, not just what I do, but what would be the tiny actions I would take? You know where I got that idea from? I got that idea from the checklist. Those tiny actions that came up on the checklist from yesterday. I'm going to bring that up actually right now to check in. Elaboration, description, action. Okay. Other things I could have used here. Oh yeah, those precise details. I was trying to do that. I got that idea from the checklist yesterday, from that story toaster. So you see how I'm not only bringing out what I know to be true about writing details about characters, but I'm also now using what I've learned about narrative writing and using some of the tools. So I'm using some of what's in my brain, what I know about characters, and a tool at once. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to try the same thing in your own writing, thinking about the kinds of details that will help to show who you are as a character. I would like you to also focus on your thoughts, feelings, actions, the dialogue that you might use to really try to convey exactly what you're like as a person. And I also want to just remind you that you have other tools to help you with this. So not only do you have the teaching point and the tip I'm giving you, but you could have your narrative craft checklist on your screen too. I've actually, for myself, I printed these out and cut them up. These are just the parts from the checklist that I just named that I could use to help me as I continue writing today. So what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to open up your document if you haven't already, your ongoing document or your digital notebook. I would like you to think about what are you like as a character, using some of these reminders to help you. Then I'd like you to start writing it into your piece, using what you know to be true about showing what a character's really like, using what you know to be true about yourself, and also checking in to make sure that you're using the tools and you're staying true to your goals as a writer. I can't wait to see what you do, be sure to check out the other videos that are also available on our YouTube page, because you might want some other tips today as you continue to work on your own. I can't wait to see what you produce. Happy writing.